Hey, what's going on, everybody? Joe Menza here. I'm going to do a quick little fall type scene. I've already wet the paper down with 3 coats of water, and I'm going to use some light red and cad yellow hue. These are Cotman colors, and mixing them together, you get like a nice orange, a nice orangey color. So we're going to use that as our backdrop, and just add a little bit of burnt umber to it and a little more light red just to make that a little bit stronger. I want to go for a theme here. We're not going to use a lot of colors. Put a little more yellow in. A little bit more brown. Just trying to make the backdrop a little bit more interesting. Keeping it a little lighter on the bottom, we'll have a little bit of water there. You can see there's plenty of water here rolling down the paper, which is fine. And I'm just going to take and clear a little of this out so that there's some light behind some of the trees that we're going to put in. It's kind of reverse painting. We're just removing some paint, dabbing it on a towel. You can make clouds this way. You can remove paint and create areas of light. It's an interesting way to go, kind of doing things in reverse to see shapes and things. Just slowly removing. And if you wanted to make this almost into a sky, you could do that. So I'm using just a little bit of burnt umber here to layer some things in more in the distance, taking some green now. Really want to create some light on the top. And you can see it doesn't look like much now. Not worried too much if it runs a little bit. Just kind of blending this in a little bit so there's no cauliflower effect. Okay, so this is where we're at now after I let it dry a little bit. And now we're going to put in our trees. Again, we're using the same colors, yellow and red. Don't mix it too much on the brush if you're trying this. And I'm just kind of putting some in on the sides. We're going to have a little bit of a pond area in the middle here. Sort of just a nice fall scene. Stretch the paper a little bit, unclip. Just pull the paper a little bit. This is 90-pound Fabriano Studio. A little thinner than what I normally use. I find if you use some little bit, sometimes cheaper paper, you don't feel so much like if you make a mistake, like you're wasting paper. Now I'm taking some burnt umber and a little bit of Van Dyke brown, and I'm just making some tree shapes. Should push everything back. I should mention that I've recently surpassed 1,000 on the subscribers, and I really appreciate it. I think it's great that people are watching, and I hope there's a lot of people out there picking up a brush and coming to this medium and having a good time with it. Okay, so now I'm taking my loyalty card. You can use a credit card, and just scraping into the wet paint. The darker and thicker it is, the easier it is to scrape. I've had a lot of people ask me, about the scraping. And you don't really push that hard. Okay, so now we're going to put a little bit more into the foreground elements and let the other things move to the back. You'll notice how things stand out against that sort of smoky, almost cloudy background. And we're starting to get a glow in the water area. Just taking our rigger brush now and just creating some things. I'm making this one up as I go along. Quick dry, and we're just going to put some, with a rigger brush, we're just going to put some branches on the big tree. And on the other one to the side. And you could leave it like this, and you could say the leaves have fallen off these main trees if you like. And it's not a bad idea because it'll stand out against that lighter background that we created by negative painting. But I like to put leaves on trees, so I'll add that to get a little bit more color in. I like to put little sticks sort of sticking out near the base of the trees. And as I go along here, just finer and finer branches. You don't have to put too many in, just enough to get the idea. Just darkening up the shadows in the tree. I do hope that everyone's coming along with their painting nicely. I'm moving along here. I've just used some light red, and I've really dried my brush. The more you dry your brush, the more smaller bristles impressions will happen, so you can create the effect of leaves as you press it against the paper. These paintings here I try to keep simple. I want more beginners to, I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by any techniques. So I really try to keep keep it simple. Above all else, just to have fun with it. Don't ever give up on a painting. Finish it all the way through, let it dry, and look at it later. And a lot of times you'll look back and you'll say, that isn't too bad. So I've covered up a lot of my white area in the back. It's up to you how much you want to cover that up in the area, but I've got enough light coming through. I'm using some of those same colors just to enhance the lower area here of the background trees. Again, sticking with that light red, cad yellow hue. Just a little bit darker, a little Payne's gray in here just to define the shoreline. I've got a couple more videos shot that I just need to edit, and I'll have those coming out. I've been super busy this summer, and lately it's been tough finding the time. And I like to narrate these now after the fact because there's just so much noise that goes on around my house that it's just so much easier. And it makes it easier for me to describe what was going on without, I can focus on the painting a little bit more. Right now I'm using a the small Ron Ranson Hake. It's a good brush to have. I recommend having like at least the medium and the large. Should have a medium hake, a large hake, and a rigger brush and like a 3/4 inch flat brush. Those would be your main brushes. And a lot of people like to use rounds. Right now I'm just scraping in some sticks and some textures along the shoreline. I think it makes things more interesting. And we'll scrape this tree too, why not? Somehow it just starts to make the picture come alive. I just really enjoy doing it. Lazy man's way of painting, but it just, I don't know, I just enjoy it probably too much. Just using some Payne's gray, some burnt umber, and now I'm coming in with my darkest darks, and I'm just hitting underneath the rocks to really make them stand out. So we're closing in on the end. I hope you enjoyed this painting. I hope it was simple enough for you to, if you're just beginning. Don't give up, be encouraged, have fun with it. And if you happen to be on Facebook and you find the Ron Ranson group, join us. You got to answer a couple questions before you join in so we know you're interested in this style of painting. A very encouraging group. You can share your work. You can read other people's techniques. We've got over 500 members in there now. And I think you'll probably really enjoy it. But as always, I appreciate you watching my videos. And I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're getting something out of them. And I hope you're doing well in your own painting. Right now I'm just lifting a little paint out just to create a little ripple in the water. A little bit of a damp flat brush and a paper towel, and you wipe a little bit of paint out and it creates a little bit of a ripple effect. It's a nice effect. So a little bit different of a painting with some different colors to it. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I thank each and every person for watching, subscribing. And let's put a couple birds in, and then we'll zoom in for a close-up. Hey, here's the finished painting. A couple birds in the sky. You can see our nice colors. Again, I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching, everybody.